worst show ever. Obi Wan Kenobi dumpster fire. Just how bad was Obi Wan Kenobi? I know, I don't even want to fucking do this video. It's fucking stupid. On today's Nerd North! Welcome back, Nerd North, and today we are talking the dumpster fire that was Obi Wan Kenobi, episode 1 and 2 on Disney Plus, and it was fucking garbage.
Wrong garbage, but I still would. And trust me, she'll be plenty happy when it rains.
That's right, if you were one of the unlucky ones to watch Obi Wan Kenobi on Disney Plus, Papa North is visibly angry and appalled at this show. May have been one of the worst things I have ever seen. From bad casting to bad plot choices, this whole show just doesn't make sense.
In fact, Dennis Quaid getting Lou Gossett Jr. pregnant in Enemy Mine makes more sense in this show.
So let's take a look at what makes this show so awful and just why Papa North is so angry. Let's start with the Jedi Temple and the onslaught that was Order 66. We start with the Jedi Master training a bunch of younglings. Well, there is a literal slaughter of her community going on inside the Jedi Temple, and it's not until the clone troopers bust through the door that she realizes that this is going on. Like, what type of master is this that can't even sense danger right outside of her own door?
It's like a Democrat in the midterms.
And even still, when she starts battling the clone troopers, waving around her lightsaber, like later on in the show, one of the villagers gets their hand cut off by Reva. But when we're at the Jedi Temple, it just makes no sense that none of these clone troopers has hacked off arms or battle damage or anything. Just so fucking stupid.
Just like people with those Ukraine flags in the profile picture.
After the Jedi Master is killed, you have all the kids there, all worried, going, oh, what did we do? What did we do? Like, these kids were handpicked by the Jedis for being perceptive and a little more powerful than your average child. At minimum, they should all know to get the fuck out of there and hide.
No differently than when anyone else from Disney is looking for you, especially if you're a child.
While we're talking kids, let's talk young Leia Organa. Like, I get it, she's a cute kid and all that, and better than most child actors, but she is supposed to be 10 years old. And when Papa North was watching this, I couldn't help to think, it's like, how old is she? Like 5? So when I checked it out, she is just 10 years old this year. The age she is supposed to be in the show, and with this show being in production for like the last 3 years, that would have made her 7 at the time. It's just a brutal casting choice. I wish her all the best, but Star Wars, you're doing a horrible job with your casting.
Just like Joe Biden, the younger, the better. Allegedly.
Furthermore, it just looked like she was too young to understand half the lines she was saying. And while we're talking Princess Leia, let's talk about the chase scenes when the bad guys are looking for her in the Force. If you are telling me a 10-year-old can outrun 3 adults in the woods, then there is a fucking problem there. And even more stupid is that I couldn't get within 5 miles of Buckingham Palace without being caught on camera or someone from security knowing I'm there. Yet these 3 random cronies are able to infiltrate one of the most high-tech worlds in the Star Wars universe right outside the back door, yet nobody knows they're there. Who runs their security, Chubb?
Speaking of Chubb, shout out to Princess Leia's mother.
Further yet, that little droid she carried around with her that flew around, it was the worst looking droid I have ever seen, and looks like they pulled it right out of Batteries Not Included.
Just like my ex's vibrating microphone.
And continuing with kids, there is a quick scene with young Luke Skywalker at the old Lars homestead. He is supposed to do some chores or something and decides to run away from Uncle Owen. Uncle Owen takes a quick look in the igloo but can't find Luke and goes, oh well, that's it, he must be gone. Meanwhile, Luke is on the other side of the igloo at the entrance. Like, we are talking flat desert here, folks, where it took 2 seconds to walk around the whole thing. This whole fucking show makes no sense.
And I'm happy to report Joel Edgerton is only in 1 episode of this whole series because he is too good for this show.
Let's talk Kenobi's part-time job at the fish market. Like, what is this giant thing and why are they cutting it up? They are in the blazing sun. Does not anybody worry about food poisoning? And furthermore, Furthermore, he's been tasked with watching over Luke. He doesn't have time to do a full-time job every single day. Papa North will tell you it's hard enough to do a full-time job and put out a video, let alone watch over the Jedi prodigy.
Believe me, all this show was good for was for being a fire starter.
And you're telling me this slave labor camp is good enough to provide showers for their employees? Let's not forget, when Obi Wan Kenobi picks up his camel horse downtown Tatooine, he is all cleaned up, looking good, fresh, clean clothes. I severely doubt a slave labor market would have showers for their employees. What type of paperwork does this guy fill out? We all know he's been going by Ben Kenobi. You would have figured somebody on Tatooine would have figured out, hey, this is Obi Wan Kenobi and I can make some serious credits just by ratting him out to the Empire. It's so fucking dumb! And furthermore, talking about disguises, Obi Wan Kenobi is trying to be low-key, not seen by anybody. It's bad enough he has this full-time job, but when he actually leaves Tatooine for Daiyu, the best disguise he can find is a good old brown Jedi robe.
Cause ain't nobody gonna recognize him in that thing.
For fuck's sakes. When he travels to Daiyu in his brown Jedi robe, he has his lightsaber just dangling all over the place, flashing it for everybody to see, yet he doesn't even use it. Like, look at that, lightsaber, no Jedi there. Furthermore, this Jedi that finds him on Tatooine, we have no idea how he found him, and looks like the guy who played fucking Polka Dot Man in the new Suicide Squad. It's just brutal.
I was actually glad when he wound up dead.
Let's enter the Inquisitors. They show up on Tatooine, and this is the biggest garbage costume choice I have ever seen for any movie.
Including the one where the sister got stuck in the sink again.
These costumes look cheap, these costumes look awful, it looked like half of their gear was literally glued loosely to the side of their outfit and just looked ridiculous. What's with the Grand Inquisitor? Dr. Dre beats wireless. They just look so stupid, glued to the side of his head like a couple of Oreo cookies. We got Buddy from Fast and the Furious.
Well, he couldn't tell that you were Asian.
It's a sad day when Papa North has to say he might have been the best Inquisitor of them all. Don't even get Papa North started on Reva. She was the most garbage character I've ever seen, and the second she opened her mouth, I fucking hated her. It made Papa North feel like he was being lectured by Oprah Winfrey about why I'm not a transgender jellyfish who identifies as a moped this whole show.
It's as if Joy Reid and Whoopi Goldberg had a baby and had nothing better to do except complain about social justice issues.
And she would be the only one who I wouldn't be shocked if she couldn't catch Princess Leia, because let me tell you, honey, those thunder thighs ain't catching nobody. And furthermore, if the Inquisitors are hunting Jedi and on Tatooine and they finally find one and they just let him go, like who the fuck does that? Just awful.
But maybe they were trying to use him as bait.
Well, too late, brother, because they already did the bait and switch. I can't fucking do this. Catch up later with Bail Organa finding out that Flea and his cronies were in fact successful with catching young Princess Leia, and he takes it upon himself to find Obi Wan Kenobi on Tatooine.
Because Obi-Wan's been hiding for 10 years, yet somehow Bail Organa knows exactly where he is.
We then have a little scene where Obi-Wan approaches his cave home, and a little droid pops out of the sand to warn him somebody is in there. How does Obi Wan Kenobi not know that somebody is only 5 feet away from him? And don't give me this shit about how he's lost some of his Jedi power since he's been on Tatooine. We already seen him go up to Lars Owen and tell him that, hey, when the boy is ready, we have to train him. Which tells me Kenobi is still on the ball at this point, and it's just more shitty writing.
What kind of pervert buries droids in the first place? Gavin Newsom, Nancy Pelosi, and Hunter Biden.
Now, Papa North will give this scene a couple of points. Kind of mirrored the one from NYPD Blue where Sipowicz talked to dead Jimmy Smith and had a nice little back and forth. Bail Organa even had the same blue-esque robes on that his character had in the NYPD Blue episode.
But the rest of it was shit.
Regardless, Obi-Wan finally agrees to leave Tatooine and go see if he can help find Leia on this planet called Daiyu. So fucking stupid. We then catch up with Obi Wan Kenobi on Daiyu, asking the townspeople, looking for clues to see if he can find young Princess Leia, when he stumbles across an old clone trooper. And it took Papa North a minute, but it turns out to be a Jerry Garcia out to Mayor Morrison, who just looked like a fool in this role. And I don't care what anybody says, these clone troopers are all supposed to be the same.
Don't give me that Bad Batch shit.
But instead, getting this matted out junkie to Mayor Morrison was just such a garbage costume design. Shout out to the butch dyke with the pink hair that offers Kenobi up the spice drugs for free. Just another virtue signal from Disney that was garbage.
They were going to use Ellen DeGeneres, but she was too busy. Children. Allegedly.
I get Disney wants to be all-inclusive, but these are just brutal choices and factors that might not even happen in a galaxy far, far away. We then have the kid from the Sunlight detergent box tell Obi Wan Kenobi that not only is there a Jedi that is surviving on Daiyu, but he knows how to find them. And after a quick little trek through town, Obi Wan peers into a room as he watches what appears to be a Jedi helping a lady get off the planet with her small child to Corellia.
Possibly Han Solo? I'll hang myself if it was.
And who does this Jedi turn out to be but the gay convenience store owner from the Eternals? Hey, come on! Who makes this shit? Now, Kumar turns out to be a total fraud, but is still able to help Obi-Wan in the end track down young Leia Organa. Points him to an underground spice lab where they're making the spice drug, and they got some of the dumbest looking aliens I have ever seen working in there, including one that looks like some hybrid of a Maroon 5 character or a Big Hero 8. Just looks fucking stupid. But he finally gets through the lab and goes down a hallway when he is confronted by a couple of cronies. And instead of just giving him a quick, I'm not the guy you're looking for, Jedi mind trick, he goes into a whole Kenobi kung fu action sequence, and it's just fucking dumb. The cronies still best Kenobi, beat him up, lock him in a room where they tell him he's going to sit there forever and pretty much die. Kenobi is able to break a bottle of spice, drug everybody, put on his little gas mask, and escape the room.
To be honest, this was the only scene where I didn't think Lee was faking an OD. And in the director's cut, you'll see Anthony Kiedis with his underwear below his ankles.
Kenobi finally escapes, finds young Princess Leia, where she mouths off to him and doesn't even believe he's a Jedi. I would have said, look kid, shut the fuck up or you're staying here. When Reva lets loose all the bounty hunters on Daiyu to now go and track down Obi Wan Kenobi, just like Mando was tracked down by all those bounty hunters when all their bounty pucks started beeping off.
Beeping off, not beaten off, although that would have been a better time.
And you would think at this point, with all these bounty hunters chasing him, cat's out of the bag, time to bust out some lightsaber, but no, Kenobi sticks with the pew 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 in the Jedi robes, hoping nobody will notice him. Furthermore, Reva manages to pull off this whole plot without any of the other Inquisitors knowing about it. They do eventually find out, but that's not even explained to us how.
I fucking hate this show!
Finally, with Kenobi getting the upper hand, Reva decides maybe it's time for me to join the battle. And I don't know if you have ever seen Rob Schneider in The Animal, but Reva starts bouncing around and running like Schneider, and it just looks fucking stupid.
Like possibly the worst sequence I have ever seen in Star Wars.
Jesus Christ. Still, after this great big threat of Reva, Kenobi still refuses to ignite the lightsaber. And as he's trying to escape with Leia, Leia falls over the side of the building, and of course, right before she can hit the ground, Kenobi finally gets his force powers back, just in time to grab her and save her before she goes splat.
Just like how Disney employees dispose of the small children they engage with.
My that, Kenobi tells Leia to run to a ship in waiting and tells her he promises he will be back, but if he isn't, he'll be right behind her and just leave the planet. We then have Rob Schneider, Reva, track down Kenobi to a factory, but Kenobi decides to hide behind some barrels. And I am telling you, these two are no more than 10 feet apart, and these two Force sensitives can't tell where each other is. How fucking stupid is that? He then spills the beans about Anakin Skywalker, about how he survived the Battle on Mustafar and is now Darth Vader. Yet this is something everybody in the galaxy seems to know except Obi Wan Kenobi. But before she can capture him, she is then interrupted by the Grand Inquisitor, who gives her a right ripping for going behind his back and trying to explain to her, you gotta know what your rank is in this role. What does Reva do?
Like any good shoplifter in Seattle,
Ignites her lightsaber and shoves it through him.
she wasn't very kind to Rupert.
Is he dead? Who knows? Maybe. But what we do know from the trailer is they have a meeting in their underwater base later, sometime in the show. And let me tell you, how awkward would that meeting be? I'm so sorry I stabbed you with my lightsaber last week, but let's get this shit done. Like, who writes this fucking garbage? Finally, we have Kenobi and Leia escaping on the transport. Kenobi is seriously disturbed
Just like Papa North.
as he reaches out to feel if Anakin is still truly alive.
Because let's make a mental connection with someone who's trying to hunt me down and kill me.
We then go to a Bacta tank, and as it focuses in, you can see that Anakin Skywalker is inside, scuba mask on, breathing away. He opens up his eyes to suggest he feels Kenobi. But let me tell you, why are we even hearing the breathing outside of the Bacta tank? Like, someone better check that thing for a fucking leak. Like I said, Papa North thinks the show is just fucking stupid. With the lack of Force abilities, I am sorry. When you left Coruscant as a Jedi Master, I do not think your level of Jedi-ness is going to dissipate over the years, especially when you're so steadfast on training Luke when he is old enough. You want to be able to keep up on things, but now you can't even do a mind trick. You can hardly even do a Force push, but somehow you are able to find the two lightsabers you buried somewhere in the middle of the desert with no markers, mind you, that possibly should have been blown over by giant sand dunes at that time. Shitty writing, shitty casting, and overall, a fucking abomination of a show. But tell me what you think. Did you like Obi Wan Kenobi?
Because if you did, you're wrong and a Star Wars apologist.
And possibly have a rainbow striped flag and a Ukraine flag in your profile picture. Like, this is the type of shit Star Wars Meg likes. You just can't keep on going on liking shitty products by the company you're supporting all the time, or your product will never get better. Well, we got YouTubers like Star Wars Meg,
And we're still waiting for you to show your ugly mug on camera.
or Star Wars Theory,
He's the one with the strap on.
who will continue to say, as long as I get Anakin and Obi-Wan, I don't care how the rest of the show is. To me, Papa North just said, you lost all of your fucking credibility and you shouldn't even be on YouTube. It's a garbage show for weak-minded people. But for everybody else who hated the Obi Wan Kenobi show, leave a comment below. Tell Papa North what you just hated about this show overall. And don't forget, the more likes and comments you leave gives me more of a chance to make some great nerdy content for subscribers like you.
And don't forget to hit subscribe because at 50 I'll be doing Funko Pop giveaways and live streams.
Don't forget to follow me at Nerd North Drew. And as always, a big shout out to the Resonators for supplying our Nerd North theme song. We hope you've enjoyed it.
Links are in the description below.
If you have a hidden talent, possibly a graphic designer, maybe you're into gaming or comic books, possibly someone on Twitter that wants to do some live streaming that doesn't have a YouTube channel, contact Papa North. We're going to make this happen for you, because here at Nerd North, we're trying to build the greatest, biggest nerdy community around the world. There, I did the fucking video. Are you happy? Fuck you. Until next time, Nerd North!